Welcome to A Journey to Whole Woman Health, the podcast where science, mental health, and faith come together to educate, empower, and encourage women in every season of life. We are your hosts, Dr. Jamie Erwin, board-certified OBGYN,
and Dr. Kathryn Nader, licensed professional counselor with a PhD in counselor education and supervision. Jamie and I have been friends for over 30 years.
Each week, we explore the intersection of body, mind, and soul, bringing you evidence-based medicine, meaningful conversations about mental health, and stories that remind us we're not alone on the journey.
So take a deep breath, settle in, and let's begin the journey. Hi, and welcome back to A Journey to Whole Woman Health. We are so excited to be with you today talking about stress, which is a big topic, something we all deal with. Have you ever felt like the stress just never leaves your body?
Mm-hmm.
Even after the problem is solved, the email is sent, the kids are asleep, you still feel wired, tense, or completely exhausted. What if the issue isn't your stress, but that your body never got the signal that it's safe again? Today, we're talking about something that could completely change how you understand anxiety, burnout, and even your physical health. We are talking about how to complete the stress cycle. This is huge.
I love this. And we are speaking directly from a book.
Yes.
This book changed my life, everybody.
I'm holding it up here for those of you who are listening.
Yeah. Dr. Erwin here, joined by Dr. Kathryn Nader. Welcome to the podcast. So the book is Burnout, written by two sisters, Emily.
Twin sisters. I think this is so fun.
Yeah. Emily and Amelia Nagoski. One has her PhD. The other is a composer, right?
Right.
A professional composer.
Very stressful profession.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a very male-dominated world.
Mm-hmm.
And they wrote this book together. Y'all, it changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
And we cannot wait to share what we learned from this book.
I've got it all dog-eared and underlined.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. It's a must-read for every woman, in my opinion, in our opinion. So let's get into it, Mary Kathryn.
Sure.
Stress versus stressors.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us all about that.
I love how they describe it in here. And just from personal experience, recognizing the difference. The stressor is the thing. Like we've talked about it before, it's the trigger. It's the event that happens. It's the actual thing. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then the stress is our response, our physiological response to that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Which a lot happens in our body. Maybe you can we've talked about it a little bit before,
yeah,
but
absolutely. So yeah, I think that was just such a huge realization.
Yeah.
Like, they're different
separate
things. They're
mm-hmm.
different things. So we think, don't stress, or you have too much stress in your life. Well, we really need to differentiate those.
Yeah.
So the stressor, like Mary Kathryn mentioned, all the things, the deadlines, the sick kids, the summer that needs to be planned, the camps and the nanny and the babysitters and
packing, all the things,
the budget and the finances and all of it. That's the stressors.
Mm-hmm.
But the stress is the emotions, the physiology, the changes. It's the cortisol that gets spiked, the adrenaline that gets released, that makes our heart rate go up, that makes our blood pressure go up. Our muscles get tenser, our bowels slow down, our palms get sweaty, our eyes get dilated. That is the actual stress showing up in our bodies. So most of us think we need to eliminate stressors, but what we actually need to do is complete the stress response.
Which is just
What?
Boom. Yeah. So fascinating just to think about that.
So what does that even mean?
So she talks about, or they talk about in their book, the stress response being how we obviously respond to the stress, but getting through the whole cycle. That often we just feel stressed and leave it at that, or even maybe try to avoid feeling stress. We think stress is bad, but it's really a part of life. Mm-hmm. It's something we're going to experience. So recognizing there's a beginning to it, there's a middle to it, and there's an end. So recognizing that when we feel stressed about something, acknowledging what is that stressor and like naming it, because our body often doesn't know the difference between something that can really cause us harm and something that's just a part of our job.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day, we'd have to run away from the bear or the lion or whatever's chasing us.
Yes.
Now we're getting a stressful email at work and we're sitting there and there's nothing that we can do. We're not going to get up and run around the office, typically. I mean, it's typically looked at as kind of strange in most office places. So just recognizing what is it that is stressing us, and going from there.
Yeah. And completing it.
Going
through that whole process.
Mm-hmm.
I think we get in trouble. I know we get in trouble. I know in my own life when I get stuck in kind of the little whirlpool where I'm just spinning, or on the spin cycle in the dryer, and you're just stuck and you're kind of ruminating. You're just chewing on the incident, the email, the deadline, whatever's hanging over you, and you're just spinning and you're spinning and you're spinning, and you're not
moving forward,
moving through it. And I think one of the biggest takeaways from this book, Burnout, was I have to speak body language to my body.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about what exactly we mean by that. But what happens when the cycle isn't completed? What happens, Mary Kathryn?
Well, just feeling that chronic stress, that cortisol, elevated cortisol levels, the anxiety, the difficulty sleeping, the irritability. We talked about the low libido that can happen from high cortisol and anxiety and stress. There's burnout, obviously, that can happen. We've talked about compassion fatigue before. So all of these things are really related. And just recognizing that our body is not broken. It's just waiting for closure.
Yeah. You gotta tell it when that stressor is over, speaking that body language. So I can't wait to get to this because it's so practical. I love the practical things, right? Like, tell me how to work out, tell me what to eat, tell me how do I complete this stress cycle. So what's the first thing that they share, these sisters, in the book Burnout?
So they shared a few ideas for completing the stress cycle and really telling our body that that we're safe, I think, is really the way that I would describe it. And I thought they were really helpful. The first one was physical movement.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Speaking my language.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you notice a difference.
Oh, I've always said, running is my therapy.
Yeah.
But the story that they give in the book is if you're a primitive person and you're in the jungle and a predator starts coming to attack you, you're out hunting and gathering, and all of a sudden there's a lion that I think they use a hippo in the book, but starts running after you.
Right.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, you're going to run.
You're going to flee,
yes.
right? You're going to, that system, fight, flight, flee, freeze, you're going to flee. So heart rate starts pumping, adrenaline's going through all your veins, and your muscles are activated, right? You are fleeing, and you are going to run and run and run and run as fast as you can until you get to your village, and hopefully your relative, somebody, a friend is going to open the door and let you come in, and you're going to hug them,
yes,
and you're going to be safe. But it's that running.
Yes.
You would think that it's like, oh, well, it's over because the lion is no longer there. No, you don't feel better. Yeah, I mean, that's true. You didn't get eaten.
Sure.
But you actually feel better because you ran.
Yeah.
You exerted that energy. You got that out of your system. You activated the adrenaline was activated, and you used it.
Right. And I remember during COVID, I took a walk on my lunch break almost every day when I was working at the hospital. And the days that I did not, I could feel the stress in my body when I was leaving. Like, just to get out inside and do one lap around the building made a huge difference. If I had time to do more, great. But just being outside, moving my body, and I had to let go of getting sweaty because, I mean, we do live in Texas.
Yeah.
But it just makes such a difference, just any sort of movement.
Yep. Just moving your body.
Physical movement.
Getting that stress to move out of you by moving your body.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah. And it's not just about the movement, also just thinking about how we release that control and surrendering that worry, remembering that we don't carry this alone, which is so important. And I think, anytime we can have that movement, walking with a friend, or running with a friend or talking with someone as we're moving, which is huge because it helps us to release it, to let it go, to objectify it in a way, just speak it out loud like it's not part of us. This is what I'm dealing with.
That's a great idea. It's kind of double dipping with a
Yeah,
friend,
do
moving your
it
body.
all, yeah.
Okay, the next thing they mention is deep breathing. And this sounds like, okay, deep breathing, fine. But there's actual science to this. Tell us, what do they mean by this, deep breathing? What does it do?
So deep breathing really helps us to get in touch with our body, to really speak the language. I lost the page. You talk about it a little bit, and I'm going to find it.
Well, it activates that parasympathetic system.
Oh, yes.
So it's like it tells the switch to flip to the other side. The sympathetic is that fight, flight, freeze, flee, all of that. Fawn. What is the fawn? What does that mean?
Fawn is kind of like, I think
play dead?
Yeah, I think it's like playing dead.
Yeah. And they talk about that in the book, too. Yeah, we'll talk about that, too. So, but it literally is the parasympathetic. If the sympathetic is you're putting your foot on the gas, the parasympathetic is the brake. And so the breath is just such a huge part of allowing that to happen.
Yeah. And I when I talk about breathing with my clients, especially if they're in the midst of a panic attack, and we always say, like, take deep breaths. I think that often we're like, which tells ourselves, like, that's what we do when we're surprised. Like, oh. So a lot of times they say focus on breathing out first, because it really, sometimes takes more concentration and being a little more present in your body to really blow out like you're blowing out a candle, and then breathe in more like you're breathing in through your nose, smelling a flower, like really being intentional about those breaths. And just, there's lots of different breathing, box breathing, all the different kinds of exercises. And yoga, of course, is huge for that. But, I mean, something as basic as just breathing and getting back into your body can help complete the stress cycle, which is huge.
Because we can hold our breath.
We can hold our breath.
We're stressed. I know I do.
And we do.
Yeah.
We do hold our breath.
When I was a kid in gymnastics, I would do my whole beam routine, and my coach would be like, you held your breath the whole time.
Oh, my goodness.
And that's can't be great. You're not giving oxygen to your muscles and when you need to show up. So, and I know I do it in stressful situations as well, like the dentist, not a big fan. I literally am like holding my breath and tensing everything that's in me. So.
Or I think about, like, in the car, like if you feel like somebody's about to hit you, we just tense up and just hold our breath.
Yeah.
So the importance of just breathing tells our body you are safe.
Yeah.
We're not holding our breath.
Slowing it down. So again, it's speaking that body language to your body, working through that stress cycle. So next is that positive social interaction. So
which we get lots of.
I know.
Which is so fun.
This has been so great for so many reasons.
Yes.
And of course, we love providing this information. We hope it's helpful to our listeners. We hope you're going to share this with a friend, with a loved one. But it's good for us.
For us, it's fun.
We get to be together.
Yes.
We get to hang out. In the book, in that example of running away from the lion or the hippo, that running to the village and that loved one opening up the door, that's part of that completing the stress cycle. So socializing.
Social, which is the one that we were talking about earlier that came to my mind reading this, because they talk about their dissertations. So when I had an online dissertation, because it was during COVID, and it was very stressful. I did it. It was online. My knee was up because I had just had knee surgery. I mean, it was just like such a crazy situation. But I invited you, of course, and then family members, and I think it was like a Wednesday, like it was the middle of a weekday, and we just went to Fuzzy's and sat outside. It was COVID, but just like ate, and I just knew from reading this book and just from this whole thing, after I defended my dissertation, I just needed that social release, and just reading this book was so helpful to recognize we need that social interaction to recognize when we get through these stressful times. And just to celebrate it, to have that time for our body to feel we're safe, we're done with that, we're not alone, and it's done.
Yep. Absolutely, all of those things. I think COVID, coming out of that, we had to miss so many milestones.
Yes.
So many celebrations had to be canceled or just look differently. We did a drive-by birthday party parade for one of my kiddos, and but I think it taught us a lot of things, but not taking the milestones for granted, celebrating. And so I decided I was going to plan my own birthday party.
I remember.
And I just did it. I just did it. And I think that was such a moment of growth for me, because there was a time in my life decades ago, I would never have done that. You know, I am the introvert. It may be hard for you to believe that listening, but I am. And so going, you know, just planning my own birthday party, inviting friends and family to my own birthday party, it puts yourself out there, but it's also speaking body language to your body, like you're safe. We need that connection. Connection is biology.
It is. Yes.
It matters, and it changes us from the inside.
So setting up and scheduling and prioritizing those ways to connect are important.
Yep.
It's a big deal.
Next one is laughter.
Yes. Which we never do.
Oh my gosh. So I actually will snort if something catches me off guard and is funny. And actually, both of my kids have it too.
Oh, that's
kind
awesome.
of like is in the family. But what does laughter do for us? How is that important?
I think they just talk about how neuroscientists just describe it as releasing so many of that stress, but helping us to connect with other people, and it helps us to regulate emotions.
Yeah.
You know, we bond with other people when we laugh together. We're bonding over that moment, over that situation.
And I think we're vulnerable when we're laughing.
We are.
We're authentic, and again, we're safe. It tells our bodies that we're safe.
Yes.
Number 5 is affection, safe touch, hugging, physical closeness. There's been good studies that show that a 20-second hug.
I thought that was fascinating. 20 seconds is a significant amount of time.
Yeah. Everyone should try this and like really count it out. It's in a very intentional, somewhat awkward length of a hug. But data shows it lowers blood pressure, lowers your heart rate, slows your breathing, can boost the release of oxytocin, which we know is that bonding hormone that is what leads to contractions for labor to commence. And it's also released postpartum during breastfeeding. So those initial first few days when a mom will breastfeed, it feels like labor all over again. She'll say, I'm having contractions again while she's breastfeeding. And it's because that is also causing an oxytocin release so that she can bond with her newborn. So that affection is a super important way to speak body language.
Yeah, I thought that was really, really interesting. And just the connection there of that hug, just being close to someone. They also talk about petting a cat or a pet, you know, just having a moment to really connect and bond in a physical way is huge.
I love my puppies for their dog therapy. I read somewhere, you know, all dogs are service animals. Some just get paid or
get to wear the special, vest.
Some get the uniform and some don't. Although I'm not taking Cookie into the hospital. She's a little too crazy. But what's the next one, Mary Kathryn?
The next one is a big old cry. And I think this one is so important. I think our culture tells us that crying is weak, or that crying is wrong, or we shouldn't cry. And that's just so frustrating to me, because crying is like laughing. Crying is like smiling. Crying is like getting angry. Crying is just an expression of our emotion. And it is not something that's less than. And often we interpret it that way for ourselves or for other people. And I really think that's wrong.
Yeah.
And it's important to cry when you need to.
Yeah. It allows an emotional release.
It releases it.
It's cathartic. It can really just discharge negative emotion or positive emotion too. I mean, you can have happy tears.
You can have happy tears. It can be just a release in general of, oh my gosh, that's over. So often you see people when they complete a marathon just cry.
Yeah.
Because it's just such a,
Yeah.
it's such a big deal.
Yeah.
You know,
such a long-term goal to have
even the top
completion.
athletes, or after when you win a big event, that cry, it's not weak at all. It's a literal just release of all the things.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
It
too.
is.
Just signals that it's complete.
Yes.
It's over. But you're right. I think a lot of people maybe they're scared. Like, am I going to lose control? If I start crying, I won't be able to stop.
Right.
Do you think that's a barrier?
Well, I think so. They talked about it, that focusing on the tears, focusing on getting the experience out can be helpful when you're crying, not always continuing to feed it, whatever the thing that's overwhelming, the stressor thing, but really focusing on what your body is feeling and what your body needs to let out. I mean, I've never met anyone that's cried for multiple days or hasn't been able to stop crying. I guess that's possible, but I think often our body is telling us if it needs to cry, and it's okay to allow that to happen.
And it's interesting because a lot of times if you're crying very, very hard, having a good sob, a weep, you also will have this breath experience that correlates where
Yes. Yes.
and then when it comes to resolution, and I think that's significant. I think your body knows what it needs to do. It's bringing that breath work in it, and you're not even intentionally doing it. How interesting that is.
I think that's very interesting too.
Lastly, we have number 7, creative expression. What do you think about this?
They talked about painting, sculpting, theater, sports, storytelling, writing, journaling, anything that's just getting out that creativity. Sometimes even a way to put the stressor into art, or putting it on the field, or putting it what do you do? It's a way of doing something with all those emotions.
Yeah, it's so true. I'm not very creative, but
you are. Look at all the podcast stuff. That's creativity, you know?
And maybe in my own way, our own way, creating this, having this platform is a way of us also completing the stress cycle, talking through things, being together, and putting this art form out there.
Making meaning out of what we've learned and experienced, and then sharing it with other people.
Yeah.
Our own fears, failures, successes, just putting all that out there. I mean, that is creating something. And I think a lot of times we think of it as only art or photography or dance, but creativity can be any sort of making of something.
You're so right. Yeah. Can you think of other times in your life where maybe you tapped into one of these 7 ways to complete the stress cycle?
Oh, I can think of all of them for sure. For sure. What about you? I shared about the dissertation. That was a big one that I thought of.
Yeah. I mean, whether it's running for me, I can think of a specific example. I had a very hard day. I had an employee that decided to quit, and it was right around COVID. I think we were still in the depths of COVID. And I remember coming home. I had bought a Peloton in the fall of 2019. I got a used one from somebody that was getting rid of theirs, and I remember thinking, like, this is the best investment I've ever made, because of course COVID and all the gyms shut down, and couldn't go anywhere, that sort of thing. And so I remember just having this very, very stressful day, and coming home and getting on that Peloton bike and just doing the hardest class and pushing myself and cranking the music up and just, sweating but ugly crying at the same time, just going after it. Like, that bike had done me wrong, and it's what I needed. It's what I needed.
Yeah, that's a great example. I love that.
And I felt so much better.
Yes.
Yes. And nothing had changed really, except me telling my body, like, it was hard, and we're getting all of this out of our system, and we're going to take it out on the bike. And And I felt better.
Yeah.
I just felt better.
I love that. I think that's so good. And we've talked about other ways, just daily routines. We kind of talked about with the compassion fatigue, but just ways of telling our body, like changing clothes when we get home from work, taking off our name tag or our badge when we leave, and just really signaling and making it a conscious thing of this is a change. This is over. Hugging our family when we get home, or just anything that can be a reminder to our body, even for those little stressors throughout the day, of we got through that, we're done with that, moving to the next thing.
I love that. She talks in the book as well, both of them do, about if we don't do this, our body's not going to know. We already mentioned how we just cycle through and we're stuck in this chronic stress and the negative effects that can have on our body. But I love the example, your body doesn't know that you have filed your taxes. Your body doesn't know that you finished all the charts that you had for those 30 people that you saw today. Your body doesn't know that that emergency C-section that you just did is over.
Right.
And that baby is fine and everything worked out. Like your brain does, but your body doesn't know that. And I don't know why. Maybe that's obvious to other people, but it just...
Yeah, I
it
thought
was
that was
such a
fascinating.
turning point for me. It really was a turning point, just this whole concept that I have to speak body language to my body. I know we keep saying that, but I want people to hear that.
Yeah, and that your body's important. We've talked about in other episodes, like not listening to our body, not acknowledging what it needs, but doing that, because like they say in this book as well, like our body is telling us where it is and when it's stuck and what it needs. And so paying attention to that and giving yourself permission. In one part, they even say, just saying to myself, like, what do you need? Talking to yourself and just saying, hey, body, what do you need? You need some water. You need to go outside. You need a nap. You need to take a deep breath. Like, what is it? And just giving yourself, being mindful.
Yeah. I think some of the times the wearables can be helpful in that way. I know a lot of people now have the Apple Watch, have a Garmin, have the Oura Ring or whatever.
Yeah.
They're just very common now. And of course, some are better than others. But I've noticed on my Garmin now, it'll tell me my HRV, heart rate variability. And I was
wow.
What is this new data point? But I think I'm the kind of person that I appreciate that ability to see how my body is speaking to me, because I have gotten really good at ignoring it. As an athlete, as an endurance athlete, like, keep going, don't stop. As a mom,
right,
keep going. You don't have any days off as a mom. As a doctor, keep going, stay up. It's a 24-hour call. You got to keep going to the end. Yes, you have a cold. Yes, you have a tummy bug, but you just got to keep going. You got to show up for all the people. And what that does is create so much noise where we then can't hear what our body's trying to tell us. Would you agree?
Yes, I do. We're paying attention to so many other things besides ourselves.
In the book, too, they mention how, they turn in their dissertation for their PhD and immediately they get sick. And like, what's with that, right? Is it just, oh, well, you worked to the bone and then, you just got sick. But literally it can be like that moment. You turn it in and then you're like, oh my gosh, my throat hurts. Oh my gosh, I have a cough. Oh my gosh, I have a fever. And what they mention is that, no, you've actually been sick the whole time physically. There's been a virus, an infection, like you've had this illness, but because the stress was not completed, that cycle was just spinning in your body this whole time, it created such noise that that's all you heard. And your body was trying to tell you, I'm screaming, right. You're sick, you need vitamins, you need rest, you need medicine, whatever you need. Your physical body was screaming at you, but you couldn't hear it because of all the noise from the uncompleted stress that's in your body. And so then you turn it in, or the task is done, or you finish the call shift, you go home, and it's like, oh, I feel so bad.
Yes, exactly.
But you've actually been sick the whole time.
The whole time, and you just haven't been paying attention to it, been able to pay attention to it.
How many of us have examples
Oh,
of that?
for sure. For sure. And especially as moms, when you're caring for sick kiddos and you're trying to work and do all the things. Yeah, I think recognizing and taking time to care for our own physical body is just as important as caring for those around us.
Mm-hmm. It is. We try to do it all, don't we?
We do.
But we got to listen to our bodies.
Oh, yes, we do.
We hope this has been helpful. We talked through the difference between stress versus stressor, what stress does in our bodies, and we've given you 7 practical ways to help complete the stress cycle. It's worth it. Take the time. Share this with a friend. We hope you find it helpful. Also, will you email us? There's a way to click fan mail and send us an email. Send us your questions.
Mm-hmm. Or any topics, ideas you have for future episodes. We'd love to hear from you.
We want to meet your needs and hear from you. What do you want to hear from us? Keep on your journey. It's been great having you. Thanks for joining the journey, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us on a journey to whole woman health. If this episode encouraged you, share it with a friend, leave a review, or subscribe so you don't miss future conversations. Remember, your questions matter, your health matters, and wholeness is a journey. Until next time.
Now for the legal language. The information shared in this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not intended as medical or mental health advice. Listening to this podcast does not establish a doctor-patient or therapist-client relationship. Always consult your own qualified healthcare provider regarding any medical concerns.